If you're looking to get away from it all and enjoy a more relaxed pace surrounded by awe-inspiring views, then staying at the McKinley Princess Wilderness Lodge may be just what you're looking for. Hi, I'm Tiffany from Destination for Vacation. Thanks for joining me. Located about a 2-hour drive north of Anchorage and 4.5 hours south of Fairbanks, this lodge serves as an ideal rest stop as you explore the wonders of Alaska. Nestled on 180 acres within the Denali State Park near Trapper Creek, Alaska, the lodge offers captivating views of the Alaska Range. Because it's only 40 miles away from Denali's Peak, if the weather's cooperating, you may be one of the lucky few to see this entire majestic mountain on a clear day. It's important to note that while the lodge is located within Denali State Park, it shouldn't be your home base for Denali National Park, which is still about a 2-hour drive to the north. But for excursions in the Talkeetna area, a scenic 50-mile drive south, or simply to unwind in a tranquil yet breathtaking setting, the Mount McKinley Lodge is a great choice. Opening its doors on May 13, 1997, the lodge was originally named after Mount McKinley, North America's highest peak. In 2016, the mountain's name was changed to Denali, its indigenous Alaskan title. Despite the name change, the lodge retained the Mount McKinley name, likely due to the existence of the McKinley Princess Wilderness Lodge, located about 100 miles to the north, which was the first of Princess's Alaska Wilderness Lodges to open in 1987. Since its 1997 opening, the Mount McKinley Lodge has undergone 3 expansions, with the most recent one occurring in 2006. Currently, the property has 460 rooms, making it the 4th largest hotel in Alaska. The lodge offers a free shuttle system that operates continuously throughout the day between the units and the attractions on site. Even though the property is very walkable, this is a convenient system for guests to get around. There are plenty of thoughtful touches throughout the property that immerse you in the history and animal life of the area. Outside, you'll see statues of the native wildlife with interesting information about their habitat and way of life. As you enter the main lodge, you'll immediately notice the mountain climbing gear and other tools of the trade surrounding the front desk area. An impressive stone fireplace, cozy seating, and expansive floor-to-ceiling windows offering views of Denali and the Alaska Range await just a few steps away. Take a moment to explore the lodge after checking in. There's a wealth of information to discover about Denali's topography and cultural heritage, engaging visitors in the area's rich history. Venturing past the front desk and turning right, you'll encounter interesting displays and information about the region. Pass by the baggage check area and you'll find a lively game room offering various entertainment options, from competitive games to relaxing puzzles, and even computer access for checking emails. As you continue down the hallway, you'll reach another inviting great room featuring additional seating with panoramic mountain views, along with a small collection of books contributed by previous visitors. The Coffee Brew and Espresso Bar, open from 5:30 a.m. to 6 p.m., serves a selection of lattes, hot beverages, and small snacks. But several items were out of stock and there weren't many pastry or sandwich selections available during our stay, which was a bit of a disappointment, especially given how remote the lodge is and the lack of other quick service dining options at the resort. Be forewarned that wait times at the coffee bar can get very long in the mornings, especially when large tour groups are checking out of the resort and preparing to board their buses. So it's a good idea to arrive at least a half hour, if not longer, before you plan to leave, if you need to have that cup of joe before you head on out. Within this area, you'll also find a ranger station where Denali State Park naturalists are available to share insights on the local wildlife. We found the rangers to be very informative and enjoyed learning more about the animals that live in the surrounding areas. Not too long after seeing these porcupine quills, we took a drive on an old mining town about 10 miles from the lodge, and we happened upon this not-so-little roadside ambassador, a porcupine enjoying his evening meal. Sorry for the shaky camera action. I didn't dare disturb him by getting out of the car. You can see the exact moment when our prickly friend noticed that he had some very unwelcome company and decided to continue on his way to a more private dining setting. Since the lodge is fairly isolated, the nearest town, Talkeetna, is about an hour away, there's a range of activities available for guests who don't have any planned excursions. Although most activities are complimentary, there is a charge for the Alaska Aurora Borealis Photosymphony presentation. This 45-minute showcase of images synchronized with classical music is screened multiple times a day in the Hudson Theater. In addition, guests without personal transportation can opt to take the resort shuttle to Talkeetna for a nominal fee. As you head towards the back of the main lodge, you'll step out to a spacious deck offering an impressive view of the mountain range. Various seating options are available on a first-come, first-served basis. If you want an even closer look at Denali, you might even try these out. Nearby signs will help you identify key attractions in the vista so you know the names of the mountains you're looking at. If you're feeling a bit peckish or fancy a cocktail with your view, you also have the option of ordering deckside from the base camp bar and grill. It offers a varied menu featuring Alaskan-themed appetizers, soups and salads, burgers, sandwiches, and a small selection of entrees and desserts for those who prefer a spectacular view as their dinner show. The deck expands a considerable area, and as you walk it, you'll periodically come across informational signs that provide insights into the region's history. You can exit the deck via some outdoor stairs instead of returning through the lodge. Colorful planters filled with vegetables and flowers, as well as some outdoor games, await you there. Follow the curve, and you'll discover picturesque spots perfect for capturing photos to share with family and friends. Continue walking, and you'll soon see an outdoor seating area with fire pits, as well as the building that houses another restaurant at the resort. You may want to work up an appetite for dinner with a stroll along one of the scenic trails on the property. The Lodge Trail, conveniently located by the main lodge, is a gentle, half-mile loop trail offering views of the river that skirts the property. Informational signage on each trail highlights the plants and animals that are unique to that area. For those of you who prefer a little more information about the flora and fauna along the trails, consider joining one of the guided nature walks that are offered at various times during the day at no charge. If you're not in the mood to eat, head back to the other side of the main lodge and learn a little bit more about the history of Denali via this informational timeline, which is displayed in the hallway leading to the resort's gift shop. I found the gift shop at the Mount McKinley Lodge to be the standout among the 5 Princess Lodges we visited, offering some truly unique finds. Yes, it carried the typical souvenir selection of jackets, t-shirts, magnets, and other generic items that can be found in many gift shops. But what set this gift shop apart were the high-quality, locally crafted figurines, jewelry, carvings, art, and other unique items that I didn't see in any of the other gift and souvenir shops we visited during our month-long trip. And there were a variety of price points to suit a wide range of budgets. A word to the wise: if you see something you like, buy it. Don't assume that another Princess Lodge will carry it, because some of the items are exclusive to that specific location and aren't available at the other Princess properties. Now that you've seen the sights in and around the main lodge, you'll probably want to make your way to your room. If you drove to the property, you'll be pleased to know that there is no charge for parking, at least as of when this recording was made. We found the parking to be plentiful and convenient. This may be due to the fact that many lodge visitors are part of Princess's land tours and arrive by tour bus. For some units, you'll just park right outside the door. In other units, there may be a slight walk to your building, but there's a loading area provided where you could drop off your suitcases and get them to your room before moving your car to the designated lot. Shuttle pickup locations for each building are clearly marked, with some outdoor seating provided while you wait. We were assigned a room in Unit 21, which is a 2-story building. None of the lodging units on the property exceed 2 stories because the frost heaves in the area cause buildings to lean and shift. So when the 2-story units were built during the property's renovations, adjustable girders were used to address this issue. There were 2 entrances to Unit 21. We were advised to use the loop at the rear of the building to drop off our luggage and then park our car in the lot, because there's a slight incline between the parking lot and the building's front entrance. Drop-off isn't available at the front entrance because it's used by the property's complimentary shuttles, which run fairly frequently. When we arrived to our building, we were surprised to find there were no elevators, and this is true throughout the resort. If you have mobility challenges that would prevent you from carrying your luggage up the stairs, and it's not being delivered to and from your room as part of your land tour, be sure to request a first-floor room or one of the older single-story units. After we had carried our suitcases to our rooms and parked our car, we entered through the front entrance, which had comfortable seating and some interesting reading resources. There were stairs on both sides of the unit, with a laundry room provided near the back entrance. Ours had one washer and 2 dryers, as well as an iron and ironing board. There was a vending machine to purchase laundry detergent and fabric softener sheets, as well as a change dispenser because the machines only took quarters. You'll also find the building's ice machine and a Coke machine in this room. The rooms at the resort are standard in size, accommodating 2 queen-size beds or 1 king bed. The carpet in our room was well maintained with comfortable padding throughout. Each room is equipped with a flat-screen TV, a small desk, and a bench for your luggage. While our room's furniture showed some minor signs of wear, we didn't find that it detracted from the overall feel of the room. Upon entering the hotel room, you'll find the bathroom to the side of the entryway. It's pretty standard in size without any frills or fancy upgrades. There's enough space for one person to get ready while another takes a shower, and outlets are provided on both sides of the laminate sink countertop. The flooring is laminate, and the bathtub shower combo features a generic white laminate design. The shower curtain is well sized, preventing any leaks. The water pressure is good, and the hairdryer gets the job done efficiently. The decor is simple and functional. An illustration of Denali provided a welcome pop of color in our bathroom. The lodge provides communal shampoo, conditioner, and body wash dispensers similar to those found on the Princess ships. However, the products are a basic, generic formulation, not the same brand you typically find on the cruise line, so you're best to bring your own supplies. The towels provided in our room were very thin and scratchy. An upgrade to the plushness of the towels would be a very welcome addition. One thing to note is that the bathroom doors lack insulation, so be prepared to hear everything happening inside that room when someone is using it. Keep that in mind if you prefer a bit more privacy during your stay. You'll also find laminate tops on the desk and nightstands. One of the nightstands features a digital alarm clock and a convenient power charging center with plugs and USB charger slots. Speaking of charging those cell phones, internet access is not available in the rooms. It's only available in the main lodge. In this day and age, that's really surprising. Perhaps it's an attempt to get people off their devices and out in nature, but it's inconvenient, especially for guests with mobility issues. So if you're not using a personal hotspot through your cellular carrier, make sure that you check your emails and take care of any internet business while you're at the main lodge so you don't have to double back. Internet access at the main lodge is complimentary. The rooms also have a small open closet space with hangers provided. Rollaway beds were available during our stay for an additional $20 charge per night. A folding luggage rack, a small chest of drawers, and 2 chairs complete the room setup. Some rooms have desks as well. Although there's no refrigerator in the room, you'll have access to an ice bucket and plastic glasses. A single cup coffee maker is also provided, along with a selection of regular and decaf coffee. It's important to note that the rooms do not have air conditioning. This isn't highly unusual in Alaska, but if you're sensitive to heat, consider requesting a first-floor room facing east, especially during the midsummer months. While the room does have a comically small ceiling fan, and a circulating fan is also provided, you may just want to open up the sliding glass windows to cool down your room and get some fresh air. Just remember to check for any holes in the window screens to avoid any unwelcome mosquito guests. During the summer, there's about 20 hours of daylight and then 4 hours of the type of darkness you typically see around dusk. The room's blackout curtains are very effective in keeping out the light of the midnight sun, but they can also prevent that gentle breeze from blowing in. We didn't find the lack of air conditioning to be a problem during our stay. And since the daytime temperatures average about 68 degrees Fahrenheit and the nighttime temperatures average about 50 degrees Fahrenheit even in the hottest months of summer, the lack of air conditioning is probably going to be a non-issue for most guests as well. While each room offers the chance to enjoy the fresh Alaskan air, noise levels may be an issue in some of the buildings depending on your room's location. Some units that are clustered together near the main lodge and restaurants may experience more sound issues from passerbys in the nearby recreational areas, so consider requesting a quieter room location if you tend to be sensitive to noise. About a month before our stay, I'd emailed a request for a room on the second floor in the quietest location possible, and the staff at the resort were very accommodating. We really liked our location. It was the farthest away from the main lodge, and the only noise we heard were the chirping birds and breeze through the surrounding trees. It was next to the South Loop Trail, so there was the opportunity to see moose in the mornings and late afternoon. While they didn't show up for us, other guests did see one during our stay. The quality of the room's bedding and mattress at this lodge may not meet everyone's expectations, resembling more of a budget hotel experience than what you might be accustomed to after experiencing Princess cruise ships' very comfy beds. We found the mattress in our room to be so firm it induced a restless night's sleep and backaches the next morning. It was hard, yet at the same time it bounced whenever someone slightly shifted positions on it. The sheets were very thin, and the fitted sheets didn't stay securely in place during the night, requiring frequent readjustments. The pillows were adequate, but not the most comfortable. But the duvet kept us at a perfect temperature. This experience seemed to be a lost opportunity for the Princess brand. The uncomfortableness at the beds at this lodge were in sharp contrast to just how great the beds are on their ships. Perhaps at some point the brand will ensure that the most comfortable bed at sea is matched on land at their lodges. The room's decor featured some Alaskan-themed prints, as well as a moose-themed desk lamp, adding a touch of the local wilderness spirit. We found our rooms to be very clean, not a stray hair in sight. During our stay, customers were offered the option to decline daily housekeeping in exchange for a one-time $5 credit towards on-site purchases in the restaurants or gift shop. However, the process for receiving the credit may need some improvement to ensure a smooth experience for guests. In our case, it took 3 different texts and a visit to the front desk to get the credit. For some, that $5 credit may not be worth the hassle. There are 3 on-site dining offerings at the lodge. There's the Base Camp Bar and Grill, which offers a more casual dining experience at the main lodge. For a more upscale dining experience, you may want to try the North Fork restaurant, which offers Alaskan-themed entrees ranging in price from about $30 to $50 per person. Reservations are highly recommended for this restaurant, especially during peak travel times. The third restaurant, the 20,320 Alaskan Grill, named for Denali's elevation, serves a slightly more varied menu at different price points and offers some kid-friendly options. Depending on how busy the lodge is, there may be a wait to get in. We opted to eat dinner at this restaurant for our first night stay. The wait to get a table was reasonable, about a half hour. It's a busy restaurant that's used to serving quite a few customers at a time, and this is reflected in the service. And just like Princess, for whatever reason, loves to play 1980s music on repeat in their restaurants on the ship, we were dismayed to hear the same music here, which really detracted from the dining ambience. After eating at the 20,320 Alaskan Grill for our first night, we opted to eat the remainder of our meals off-site at the McKinley Lodge for the next 2 days. This small lodge was the original homestead of Mary Carey. After the U.S. purchased Alaska, farmers, miners, and wilderness pioneers began claiming land. Until 1986, homesteading remained a viable method of settling Alaska. In the 1960s, after her husband died, Mary Carey drove from Texas to Alaska to homestead, eventually building her own home here. Today, it's a family-owned lodge and cafe, an easy 3-mile drive north from the Mount McKinley Princess Lodge. If the weather and the mosquitoes cooperate, you can choose to dine al fresco accompanied by some hanging chainsaws. Admire the great north side view of Denali while enjoying their homemade soups and pies and one of the best burgers I've had in quite some time. Service is friendly, prices are reasonable, and the food can't be beat. There's even a small gift shop carrying goods made by local artisans. If you time it right, there's a good chance you'll see some wildlife on your drive back to the Mount McKinley Princess Wilderness Lodge. If you're on a Princess Land tour and don't have your own car, the property is very walkable, so take an early morning or evening stroll. We saw this fox right off the highway just as we were rounding the curve to turn back into the property. The state ranger told us that it's not uncommon to see foxes in the area, but this was the only one we saw on our Alaska trip. The lodge does a great job of educating guests on the various animals that live in the area. As you walk around, you'll also see various statues and signs to help you learn more about their habitat. The longest trail on the property is also the steepest, but as you gradually climb in elevation along this 1-mile trail, not only will you be immersed in a stunning landscape, but at the end of the trail, you'll be rewarded with unparalleled views from the property's very own Treehouse. With its steep pitched roof, exposed beams, and wall of windows, this treehouse was built for Season 9's finale of Animal Planet's Treehouse Masters Show. In partnership with the Discovery Channel, the treehouse was built on one of the highest land-based north-facing viewing areas and offers unobstructed views of Mount Denali and the Alaska Range. Inside, there's a multi-purpose room with plenty of space and some rustic seating for gatherings and small events. At approximately 500 square feet, the treehouse is powered by solar panels and utilizes materials from areas around Alaska, reclaimed cedar wood from Ketchikan, and wooden benches from Palmer. At its opening ceremony in 2017, the ribbon was cut by an Alaskan lumberjack via a swift throw of an axe. Floor-to-ceiling glass windows provide natural light and showcase panoramic views of the property's surroundings. You'll feel on top of the world as you stand on the back deck and admire Alaska's unique beauty. If you're not in the mood to do the full hike from the main lodge, the property offers shuttle service to the base of the hill, which is a short walk up to the treehouse. The lot also offers parking for those guests who have a car. Many people assume that booking land tours through Princess is a requirement to stay at the 5 Princess Lodges, but that's not the case. If you're like me and prefer to explore on your own instead of doing group tours, you can plan your own itinerary for the trip and then try to book your reservations as early as possible. To be on the safe side, I booked all of our hotel rooms and rental car in Alaska 8 months ahead of when we planned to visit and had no issues. If you can't book that far out, then just be flexible with your travel dates. This facility is a little easier to book than some of Princess's other high-demand lodges, and the rates are quite reasonable. You can call to book your reservation or simply book online by visiting princesslodges.com. Choose your desired location, enter your dates, and check for room availability. If there are no available rooms for one or more of your selected dates, use the modify option to see when they do have availability. For this particular room and date, cancellation is free, so I could hold the room temporarily while organizing the rest of my travel plans. If all goes according to plan, I can just keep the room. If I need to adjust my travel dates, I can do so without penalty. So the site makes planning a breeze. Of course, if you booked a Princess Land tour, then none of this is necessary. All of your rooms and transportation for the trip will be pre-arranged for you. So, is Mount McKinley Princess Wilderness Lodge worth a visit? Well, here are 3 reasons to go. 1. When you stay here, you are smack dab in the middle of some gorgeous scenery, and this property takes full advantage of that. Yes, the main attraction may be the views of Denali and the Alaska Range, but there are small, thoughtful touches throughout the property that help you feel immersed with your natural surroundings. Don't miss the nature trails. They're very peaceful, take minimal time to walk, and you'll see flora and fauna that's unique to the area. Reason number 2 to visit. The lodge does a really nice job in educating guests about the culture, the history, and the nature of Denali. You could spend hours in the main lodge reading the various signage, but having the state rangers there is a huge bonus. They couldn't be more enthusiastic and helpful, and you'll enjoy your interactions with them while learning so much about the area. And the 3rd reason to visit, even if you can't spend the night, is their gift shop. I'm not a huge souvenir shopper on vacations because you generally see the same merchandise in every shop, and it's not locally made. But I do try to buy one item for each trip to place in a room in my home so that when I look at it, I'm mentally brought right back to that spot. This shop had a nice selection that catered to a lot of different tastes and price points. The prices were reasonable and the quality was good. Between this gift shop and the gift shop at Mary Carey's down the road, let's just say I bought more than one item and leave it at that. But like any property, there's room to grow to improve the guest experience at the Mount McKinley Princess Wilderness Lodge. Here are 3 things you should probably be aware of before you book a stay here. The first, and this is a huge missed opportunity for all of the Princess Lodges, we found the beds to be horribly uncomfortable. Our first experience with the Princess Luxury bed was on the Sky Princess during our cruise to Norway, and that, believe it or not, was actually the primary reason we booked Princess for our cruise to another destination. You would think that Princess would want their customers to sleep just as well in their beds on land as they do on sea. But there's no continuity here. Perhaps it's because of a lack of competition in the area, and Princess doesn't feel like the added expense is necessary to attract guests. Maybe it's because most guests only spend 1 or 2 nights at each of their lodges, and they're rarely lounging around in their rooms. But in my mind, switching out their beds would make a world of difference in enjoying this location. The second important thing to keep in mind is, yes, the scenery is stunning because you're in a remote area, but you're in a remote area. So there won't be a lot of options beyond what's offered at the lodge, especially if you don't have your own car to get out and drive around. So if you're the kind of person who needs to stay busy, it would probably be a good idea to either book an excursion or even take the shuttle into Talkeetna for a few hours if you plan on staying 2 nights or longer at this location. If you're only staying 1 night, then no worries. There's plenty to see and do on the property, so you're not going to get bored. Personally, I like a little downtime to explore at leisure, so our 2-night stay was perfect for our first trip to this lodge. Lastly, we were disappointed in the dining experience at this lodge. There needs to be more quick service grab-and-go items available at the coffee bar because not everyone wants to eat every meal in a restaurant, even at the bars. The entrees were a bit overpriced, not unusual for Alaska, but it would have been nice to have more nutritious options available for families with picky eaters. And while reindeer is a novel ingredient, unique to northern climates, it really doesn't need to be served in more than 1 dish. We were able to get in our car so we could eat off-site, but a lot of guests are on land tours, so just know that your dining options will be a little limited during your stay here. Again, if you're staying for 1 night, it's probably a non-issue. So, given all this, would I return to the Mount McKinley Princess Wilderness Lodge? Yes, I would. I enjoyed it. It's a great place to unwind for a night or 2 if you have a little wiggle room within your itinerary and would like to explore the state park side of Denali a little more. Thanks again for watching. Perhaps you can join me again in one of these videos. Until then, here's hoping that your next adventure is just around the corner.